Hello everybody, I'm signing in for a quick typing today. I'm going to be a very little preamble, just going to say that this guy, Anthony Aguirre's type, is going to be in the description. So go and look at it, memorize it, and during the video try to associate his type, his official type, with this person and how he's being. And also that way you can control whether the interpretations that I'm giving out loud live are correct interpretations or misguided. I'm not going to add it to the video because actually that's a way of learning. I've been studying how to learn, and it's important to put in effort, to memorize. So if you memorize his type while you're watching it and try to remember what it was, you can always go back into the description to see what it was. That's going to help you study typing and study OP. So that's how I invite you to consume this video. I'm trying to put in full attention, but I haven't got very much time, so I'm going to try to just do a quick first impression typing and see what happens. So an infinite universe mean, so he's talking about universe physics and things. It's very imaginative, very NT. NT talking about universe. However, it could be demon N, like you're looking at everything and like, how can I understand what this all means? So it could be ST. It's more of a T kind of thing. F would have the interpretation of like a more F kind of interpretation, basically. It's not so cut and dry factual. So science and the future of humanity. Okay, so he's thinking about the future, how multiple universes generated. It's all about physics and deep physics. Dirty secrets of cosmology. Why there is something rather than nothing. Wow, these are kind of yeah, I guess they're big questions. While you believe that they're important, did God create multiple universes? I mean, they are important questions, and you could get caught unawares if you haven't processed these questions. So it's important to, I guess it's important to dive in for a time, at some time. I definitely did, you know. I definitely did. Yeah. I spent a lot of time doing that. A lot of time. Okay. Is the world fundamentally information? That is very NT kind of thing to say, you know. Like super abstract. Super abstract. Okay, and I would say kind of observery. Nothing here is telling me anything about decider issues. So all about what is reality, not people issues. Observer. Okay. It could be decider, you know, it could be just he's very interested in this and he's good at it, so that's why he's teaching about it. But if you look at him, he has trouble with the decider issues. That's definitely possible. Okay, let's hear what he has to say.
Anthony, it's great to be here with you again. This is our fourth conference together for FQXI. We've dealt with multiverse and cosmology, nature of time, nature of information now, nature of the observer versus in events in quantum physics. If you integrate all this together from the FQXI viewpoint, how does this impact the understanding that humanity has for science and the importance of science as we look to the future when we're dealing with such big abstract subjects? We're not dealing with making new computers.
This guy seems asleep last. Like,
dealing with these vast
It's not him we're listening
concepts
to,
that
though.
seemingly have no practical application, which is why I like it. But what is the significance of what we're doing?
Well, I mean, one of the things I love about, FQX and being part of it is that people are thinking on such a big scale, thinking about sort of spans of time and on a level of conceptuality that you just don't have on an everyday level. And when you think about society and sort of where we are as humans and where we are in our solar system and in the universe and in the history of the universe, you get a fairly different view. So, and especially when we've been thinking about observers as part of this conference, it's an amazing thing that the universe has gone on for this 13.8 billion years, and a lot of it, at some level unobserved, or at least unobserved by things that enjoy the sort of consciousness and appreciation and who get to think about it like we do at FQX. And the question is, is that a blip in the radar? Are we going to sort of have this glorious time for a little while and then kill each other off and that's it? And the universe goes back to sleep for another billions and billions of years? Or, is this the great awakening that's going to go on and sort of fill up billions of light years with sentient beings getting to do all this awesome stuff and those are hard questions to think about because they, it's about not just who we are now, but who are we going to become? What are our descendants? Are they going to be us? Are they going to be super intelligent AIs? What are they going to be? And what can we sort of do about that now by understanding, what is an observer? What is conscious? What does it matter? And those sorts of questions that are part and parcel of what FQX likes to think about, they're strangely becoming important. What is...
It's very rambly, isn't it? Like, he's touching on a lot of different topics. It's not clear what his main point is. He's got a lot of main points. Many main points, difficult to follow. So is that play? Is that consume above blast? Is that OE? Play, consume, OE. If it's OE, then it's play or consume anyway. Could it be anything else? Blast last. Bird chirping, blast last. It's a shame I don't have much time today because I had quite a lot of notes for the last one, but I'll have to catch up next video. So he's very deep in on this subject. This number of billion years, very interested, very passionate.
Consciousness, is a fascinating question. That's
one of my favorite.
That we really would like to know the answer to, but we'd like to know the answer to. We don't have to know the answer to, maybe. But if we're thinking about creating machines that are smarter than us, we better know whether those things are going to be conscious or not. And we don't.
So, FQXI foundational questions, when you deal with time, information, multiverse, observers, why are those considered foundational questions?
Foundational is a sort of word we've given to the questions we think are really cool and interesting. That's the secret. That's the dirty secret of FQX. But there I think at some level things that have to do with the sort of big questions, the big nature of reality, the hard problems. The problems that we study not because they're easy, but because they're hard, as the saying goes. That the questions that you have, this is. Some people, when you really want to get stuff done, you've got this feeling like, let me not think about that, right? We are putting
exactly
it back in there,
the opposite.
Putting it back in there. So it's hard to say exactly what makes something foundational and FQXy, but you sort of know it when we see it. When you're like, yeah, that's really cool. I really want, and that's confusing.
Yeah.
You know, that's the kind of question.
One
What?
way of defining it in a funny way is that we talk about the things that you can't get a normal science grant for.
That is certainly that is certainly one way to define it, by exclusion.
I'm thinking OE, like he wants to push it to the furthest, like wants to go super abstract, super far. Not narrowing down. What else? I'm sticking to NT and I'm thinking TI. So that's already saying NETI. Now, what kind of NETI is this? Is it consume sleep? I just said TI. Could it be TE? Could it be TE? It seems pretty much like he's building his worldview for himself.
But that covers a lot of things,
Right,
and it's tricky to find the ground that is still science and still rigorous and still, you know, you can talk about it with real scientific methodology, and yet is far enough out, sort of on the edge of what people can think about, that it's hard to get conventional funding.
And you have a core way of thinking, which is generally physics, which underlies this approach. There are other ways of knowing in the world, you know, arts and humanities and biological, but the core of this is physics, which is one view of the world to view these kinds of questions.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, very options opener. Let's see another one.
So when we ask whether the universe is infinite or finite, we have to be really careful about the question we're asking, because what Einstein has taught us is that what we really should think about is space-time. Space and time are one thing, and we can divide them up in different ways. Now, what it turns out to happen is that if you divide space and time up in one way, it could be that space is infinite. But if you divide the very same space-time up in a different way, it's finite.
That sounds really incredible.
It is, and it leads to one of the most amazing things, which is that you can take some region, say, you know, here it is, I'm going to create something here, and this is going to turn into a universe that is infinite in space, that has infinite volume at each time. Now that seems just totally ludicrous, right? That it's got finite volume, how is it going to turn into something with infinite volume? But the decomposing space-time into space and time is the key. So the way it works in some sense is that suppose I take some nugget of stuff and it starts growing and I let it grow.
Okay, I know it is all talking about NT things. I need to find a way to know whether it's play or sleep. And I think that I do feel like it's information dom. I mean, it's a kind of a stereotype, info dom. I mean, I hope it's not info dom like that. I learned something, because I'm just, you know, if it's info dom, I'll be like, yeah, well, that was a good guess. Makes sense. So I want to have him talking about his life, personally. Can we have that? Interview. Anthony Aguirre. Cosmology. Is the world fundamentally information? Energy dom. Let's see what he says about God.
Anthony, the question of multiple universes is a pivotal one in modern cosmology.
Some would say that because we have multiple universes, which physics seems to be indicating, that would undermine a belief in God, because the multiple universes would explain the seeming fine-tuning of this universe, and so we wouldn't need a supernatural reason for it. Do you see it that way?
Well, I would say these reasons for believing in God that ultimately are pointing towards just things that we don't understand in physics are sort of a dangerous way to go, in the sense that if you look at it that way, if you say, I believe in God because we need the Earth to keep going around the sun in the same orbit and not be perturbed by the planets, you're going to be very disappointed when you figure out that you just hadn't quite worked out the equations correctly, and in fact you don't need that. Right? So then do you not believe in God? So I think it's very dangerous to hang your belief in God, if you have it, on this sort of unanswered scientific question. For example, why are the constants of nature seemingly so nicely tuned to allow life? There are other explanations. It could be that life is a sort of universal self-organizing principle that happens in a different way if the constants are different, but the universe isn't necessarily devoid of life. It's just totally different from the kind of life that we are. That could be. Or it could be this multiverse explanation, that there are many universes, many different tribes, many different rolls of the dice, and in the hospitable ones, beings will arise. That's certainly the explanation of why the Earth is so hospitable to life. We don't think the Earth is so special and fine-tuned that a supernatural agent had to create it. We think, well, there are probably zillions of planets out there. Where are we going to be? Obviously on the hospitable one, right? So it is an explanation, I think, for that question. Supernatural agent or God could be another explanation, but I don't think it's a necessary one. But as I said, I think pinning your belief on that is a dangerous thing to do. And I think almost demeaning to God in some way, in my conception. If you look at the standard theory of our cosmology, that the universe evolved from this hot, dense state that in turn had this period of inflationary expansion before it. It turns out that the whole observable universe could have evolved from some bit of stuff that was about 10 kilograms. Okay? So if God really is responsible for the creation of the physical universe in this way, if that's what God's role is that really very exciting to create 10 kilograms of inflation? I mean, I think if there's a concept of God worth believing in and worth thinking about and worth contemplating, it's got to be something a bit bigger and deeper than that. A bit bigger and deeper than monkeying around with creating a little lump of inflationary phase, or even something that's seemingly so grand, but within physics can be described of monkeying around with the fundamental constants. So I would find that a little disappointing if that's really what God did.
Okay.
It could be energy Dom, because he's talking, he's making his point. Well, he's not blabbing on, but I just mean that his energy seems quite level. It's hard to go off of that, and I'm not good enough at going off of that. Basically, I think what I'm doing, guys, is trying to make him not me, but I mean, he could be me. I just didn't go down that route so deeply, So I want to maybe say he's sleep above play. Consume, sleep, blast, play. That's very introvert. Does he want to Is his problem expending too much energy or saving too much energy? Hard to tell. I did think it was maybe masculine N, so feminine S, and it seems pretty clearly feminine DI, feminine DE, masculine DI. But he's quite clear about his opinion. He's made his opinion. He's telling you. Feels very double decidery. I don't mind talking about God, and I know it might upset you, but I'm just going to tell you what I think. And I'm not worried that it's going to upset you. I trust you that it's not. I'm just telling you what I think is true. So let's just say double feminine, because like that it's not me. And play or sleep. Play. Let's say double feminine me then. So that's ONTC, play, blast, double feminine. Let's go. Let's try. Fill in name. I didn't. Anthony Aguirre. Anthony. How was your day, by the way? How have you spent your last 2 days? Tell me all about it. What interesting thoughts have you had? What difficult experiences have you had? Tell me. Say hi. Observer. NBDILE. Consume. Play. Info. Feminine S. Feminine DE. Let's go. So Anthony Aguirre. Observer. N. Something. DE. OI. Oh, so blast. Okay, yeah. He was blasting away pretty well. It just seemed very skibby. Is it play? Blast. Blast sleep. I wonder why. Maybe it was just NT unclear, the blast. So it was good blast, just, structured. I'm telling you this and this and this. But N, so hard to understand clearly. Info, feminine S, feminine DE. Ooh! Okay. And is it T? Yes. So, okay. Interesting. It's great, this. It's really good. This is what I need to be doing. Okay, so I didn't calculate how many this is. Observer was right, N was right, T was right, but it was DE and OI and blast. So that's 3 wrong and 4 wrong because sleep. But info, so that's 6 out of 10. Feminine S. Yeah, I did pretty well, 6 out of 10 in 20 minutes. Better than what I did in an hour and a half. Feminine DE. 6 out of 10. Good. 6 out of 10. I'm in a funny mood again and tired. I'm tireder than I look. I'm like hyped up still. But, man, crazy how many things can happen in 2 days. I took shrooms yesterday and wow, I laughed all the time. And it had some good breakthroughs. Went to sleep at 2:30 or 3. It was really good. A lot of compassion and, feeling, understanding. Like love. And it's hard. And there's a lot of pain. Caused by me, caused by other people, felt by me, felt by other people. And you can only just contemplate and say, wow, that's hard. Like, wow. Yeah, I hope we'll have more time to talk next time. But that's it for me today. Thanks for watching and take care. Bye.